All right. Welcome back, everyone. As always, I am your host, Spencer Fannon. Thank you for coming back to Five Downs with Fannon. I believe this is episode 7, lucky number 7. So here we go. Obviously, let me give you a quick breakdown on how the show goes. There'll be 5 subjects that we talk about, one for each of the 5 downs that Colorado got when they played Missouri in 1990 and won, and then went on to split the national title with Georgia Tech that year. But yeah, we're not better about that. Of course not. But before we get into the games this weekend, let's jump back to last weekend. Gave out some picks. So actually didn't do too bad. Went 2-3. I mean, I guess on 2 of the picks that I got wrong, I got really wrong. So yeah, I had Utah winning and I had Illinois winning, and those were very very bad picks. So I'm sorry if you decided to pick those. Um, the other one I did lose. I think a lot of people lost. I believe we gave out Rams plus 3.5, which should have hit, except for Fat Man touchdown by Jordan Davis at the buzzer. And I think everybody probably lost that one because that's the one thing that couldn't happen. They're leading by 19 for this in the second half, and they somehow lose by 5 or 6. Um, just nuts. But yeah, and then yeah, the 2 winners. I mean, I guess you got kind of lucky on the Oklahoma, so it kind of balances it out. At Oklahoma minus 6.5, they covered because of a last second safety. They got 10 sacks in that game against Auburn, and the final one gave them a safety within like less than a minute left or something like that. So I guess that kind of evens out the Jordan Davis one, the Eagles Rams one, and then obviously the fifth pick was the over in the Rams game. I'm sorry, Monday night game. That went over pretty easily and stuff. Actually, if you had laddered it maybe up to even like 65, you still would have won and stuff like that. So not a terrible week. I mean, had some bad luck, and some good luck, and such. So we'll see how we go moving forward. We got 5 games to talk about this week. 2 in college football, 3 in the NFL. So let's get right down to it with first down. All right, time for first down, and it's big game down south. You got number 17 Alabama facing or going to Athens to play number 5 Georgia. Do some quick betting angle stuff here. It's Georgia currently at the time of this recording on Thursday. It's a 3.5 point favorite. These odds and totals are coming from ESPN Bet, just so that they're all that way. That way you can. That way I'm letting people know that's where I'm getting these. You can get obviously check around on other odds if you're inclined to gamble or anything like that. Obviously gamble responsibly, um, stuff like that. Make sure you're doing it legally and such. But yeah, ESPN better the where I'm getting these numbers. Obviously, yeah, Georgia minus 3.5. So it's probably a pick 'em game if it was a neutral site game. The over under is set at 53.5. It is a night game. It is the 6:30 Central game this weekend. I believe. I don't think it's on ESPN. I think it's the ABC game. Let me check because one of the other games is also the other college football game we're talking about in second down is the other 6:30 game and such. So let's see, Alabama, where are you? Alabama, wow, scroll. ABC. Okay, so it is the ABC game. Okay, this one. Um, yeah, I mean, to be honest, this game is obviously going to come down to the quarterback play. It's going to be Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton. Obviously, Alabama got blown out dominated, I should say, in their opener against Florida State, but they've come back. They've won the rest of their games. Obviously, Georgia has played well, not great, but well, being undefeated. I believe their last game, yeah, they went to Knoxville, beat Tennessee in OT and stuff. But it's an interesting game because both teams usually are very very stout on defense, but these defenses haven't been as good or as at least as dominant as in years past. Georgia's run game is still very good. And obviously Ty Simpson has really shown out the last couple of weeks now against subpar opponents, but still he's put up some really gaudy numbers. Ryan Williams is back from, I believe, a concussion. He suffered a couple weeks. So he's played in the last couple games, but I believe he missed Alabama's second game. But he's back. He's had some big games also. He had, obviously, last year he had the breakout game against Georgia. I think like 170 yards, a couple touchdowns and stuff. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's only 17. He's only 17." Remember that he's now 18 and such. But yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because it's like under the lights. I think both teams are going to be amped for this, but I'm I'm going to lean. I think I'm going to go the over in this game because I just don't know if I can trust both of these defenses just yet. They've struggled against good offenses and stuff, and I do think that both of these offenses are solid, are good and stuff. I mean, but it's going to come down to, arguably it's going to come down to which can one of the defenses make the opposing offense one dimensional, and I guess in that sense, it's like can the Georgia defense make or shut down the Alabama passing attack with Bernard and Williams, and then can the Alabama defense shut down the Georgia running game? Because that running game was dominant against Tennessee. It let them stay in that game and just grind down the Tennessee Volunteers defense and such. So that's going to be I think the key thing. And so I don't know if I can. I haven't seen that yet. So I'm going to go points, and I think the over is the play here. So, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game. Hopefully, we get another instant classic like we did last year. Gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it. Gonna be right after a couple other really good games throughout the day. So good week of football coming up on the final baseball regular season. So interesting dichotomy there and stuff. As a huge baseball fan as well, I mean, you can sort of see the Chicago Cubs W flag right there, but. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be points in this one, so I'm taking the over 53.5 in this Alabama at Georgia game in Athens this weekend. So that was first down. Now let's head on down to second down. All right, time for second down, and we're going to the other really big college football game at 6:30 on Saturday, and that is in the Big Ten this time. Oregon traveling to Penn State for whiteout. It's one of the, I mean, I'll put a picture up. I'll grab a photo and show you. It's insane. Like that atmosphere looks awesome every time you see it on TV, and it's going to be crazy this year. Obviously, the top 10 matchup: number 6 Oregon traveling across the country to face number 3 Penn State. You got two arguably dark horse candidates for the Heisman at quarterback in Dante Moore for Oregon and Drew Aller for Penn State. You've got the two coaches that have kind of have always battled the can they win the big game stigma in Dan Lanning with Oregon and with James Franklin at Penn State. They kind of got over that, or at least Dan Lanning did last year. Obviously, Dan Lanning beat Ohio State last year when they hosted Ohio State at Oregon, and they also they won the Big Ten title against Penn State. So though Oregon then lost in the playoffs to Ohio State, got blown out in the Rose Bowl, and then Penn State won their first playoff game against Boise, and then lost to Notre Dame in the semis. So James Franklin is still, I guess, in that range of he needs to prove it. They've won, I think, he's won 2 games in which he's beaten a top 5 opponent. So it will be interesting. This will be obviously this isn't a top 5 opponent, but it's going to be it's a big game. Quick betting breakdown. Again, home team is favored by 3.5. Penn State. Over under is set at 52. Both these teams haven't really played anybody and such. I mean, I think it's like Oregon 2 weeks ago. I think boat raced Oklahoma State 69-3, and then just beat Oregon State. Penn State has played Villanova and some other, I think, Pennsylvania area schools and stuff. So this is the first real test for both of these teams, in my opinion. So I think and they've got a ton of talent across the board, and it might just come down to coaching. And because of that, I mean, I'm going to take Oregon plus 3.5. I think Dan Lanning, yes, it's travel, but it's a night game, so the travel is not going to be as bad. Like that if it was maybe going the other way and it was an early start. Or I think USC is facing Illinois this weekend. It's an 11 a.m. start, 11 a.m. Central start for USC, which is like 9 a.m. for them. So that's a rough travel thing. But with this, it's obviously a night game. Penn State is going to come out on fire. I do believe that, but I think Oregon's going to keep it close enough. And I think if it comes down to that at the end of the game, the pressure is going to continue to mount and mount and mount on James Franklin and Penn State. And I don't know. I mean, Penn State's got two really good running backs in Singleton and Allen, but it's Oregon. Dante Moore, UCLA transfer at quarterback, being able to throw it all over the field. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. And I think it's going to be a close game, and that's why I'm going to take the points with Oregon. I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State wins, but I think it's going to be close enough that Oregon keeps it within the number. So, again, it's going to be a great game. Those are going to be like the two games that are like these first two, at least Saturday. Those are going to be the games that I'm paying attention to. I'm going to have my two TV set up. I'm going to have one on Alabama and Georgia, and the other TV on this game. It's going to be a ton of fun. Obviously, this game is on NBC, I believe, and stuff. The other one is on ABC, so there you go. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I have Oregon plus 3.5 if you're following along, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a great, great weekend of college football. But those are the two college football games I'm talking about. Let's go up to the NFL. So and head on up to third down. All right, we're back with third down, and we're going to the NFL this time. And we're going to two teams that are facing off that probably won by the skin of their teeth last week. Both games had blocked field goals returned for touchdowns in the final minute and a half of the game. It was crazy. Obviously, Eagles won on a blocked field goal, return for a touchdown, or at least a cover, and stuff. And then the Bucs had a blocked field goal to go down, and then ended up driving down. Baker Mayfield took them down and beat the Jets on a walk-off field goal. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield's been insanely clutch. The Bucs are 3-0. Both teams are 3-0. Bucs have won all three of their games on last minute drives, or last 3-minute drives. Just crazy. Eagles obviously pretty just methodical and stuff. Obviously beating Cowboys opening night, then beating the Chiefs, and then the Rams last weekend. So it's going to be a quick betting stuff. It's Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. Everybody's 3.5. So, and then the over/under is 44.5. It is in Tampa Bay. It is a noon Central kickoff on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be. I think this is going to be a playoff preview because I do think the Bucs are going to win the NFC South and such. It's going to be really, really interesting because last week we finally saw the Eagles' passing offense take effect and stuff, especially in that second half. I mean, they were down nearly three touchdowns to the Rams. A.J. Brown went off. Jalen Hurts, I think 2 touchdowns, one to Devontae Smith, one to A.J. Brown and stuff. And I think he had his own touchdown as well. But you saw that the offense for the Eagles kind of woke up a little bit and stuff, especially in the second half. The Bucs have been pretty steady and stuff, but they're just hampered by injuries. I mean, they are just been crushed by injuries. I think they've lost both of their starting tackles and a guard possibly for the year. I think the guard is for a year. One tackle might be coming back maybe next week, either this week or next week. And their left tackle, and the right tackle, he's out for at least I think a couple more weeks. Mike Evans is probably out with a hamstring injury, though they might get Chris Godwin back to pair with possibly the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now in Emeka Egbuka at wide receiver. And you still got Baker Mayfield and everything like that. He's been clutch all year. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really tight game. If I'm going with it, I think because I don't know. I think the biggest issue is I don't know how healthy the offensive line for the Bucs is going to be and how much it'll gel and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go Eagles minus 3.5 here. I'm going with the favorites and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a backdoor cover where maybe it's a 7 or a 10 point game. I guess yeah, a 10 point game, and in the fourth quarter, Baker Mayfield takes them down, scores a touchdown. They kick it to the Eagles, but then don't get the ball back or something like that, so it stays within the number. But I just the offensive line for the Bucks is their I think their weakness at this moment, and the defensive line for the Eagles has been their strength for the last 2 years. So it's though the Eagles did put Nolan Smith on IR, so he's out. He's one of their pass rushers, so that's certainly going to help the Bucks. But I just think like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, the other guy Zach Bond, who's a linebacker for the Eagles. I think that's just going to be too much, and I think that it's there. And the offense for the Eagles is going to do enough to control the ball and to control the clock and control the game to cover the number and get the win in this, I think, an NFC probably divisional round matchup preview. I would be very surprised if we don't see at least these two teams in the playoffs at the end of the year, if not facing off against each other in either the divisional round or the NFC title game. So, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna go, yeah, Super Bowl champs -3.5. Going to take those guys. So, but that's third down. It's the first NFL game of the weekend of these picks. Let's head on down to fourth down. All right, fourth down time, and we got to talk about. We got to go a little later on Sunday afternoon. Talk about the afternoon game, Ravens and Chiefs. I mean, possibly. I mean, what I think a lot of people thought was going to be an AFC title preview. Now we got both teams in 1-2. One of these teams is going to be 1-3 after this week. That's just crazy. Obviously, Chiefs coming off, they were 0-2, lost to the Chargers and the Eagles, and then beat the Giants last weekend. Ravens 1-2, lost to the Bills on that great Sunday night game opening weekend. Then beat the Browns and then lost to the Detroit Lions last week. So it's a short week for the Ravens. Go plus travel. So that's going to be that will factor into some things. Quick betting stuff. Ravens currently are 2.5 point favorites. Over under is set at 48.5. Is this 3:25 Central kick time for this game? I think both teams are going to come in motivated. It's interesting because it's a battle of opposites. I would say the Ravens' offense has been fantastic, but their defense has been not great, and the Chiefs' defense has been very good, but the offense has been not great. So like those two, like the strength of one team is facing off against the strength of the other. So that's gonna, and that's gonna be a lot of fun actually because it should make for a very compelling game and stuff. Obviously, yeah, Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Andy Reid against John Harbaugh. It's going to be just a ton of fun. It should be a great game. It's going to be another one where you set it up, dual boxes and stuff. Maybe like this one on a main TV, red zone if you've got it on the other or something like that. But I think because of this, I actually think this game is going to go under, probably pretty close under. Again, 48.5 is the number as of the recording on Thursday afternoon, evening at ESPN. I think it's going to be very tight. It's going to be both teams are going to try and control the clock because they want to keep the opposing offense and quarterback off the field. So that's going to be the main thing, I think. And again, the rush defense for the Ravens has not been great, and I think the defense, the front seven for the Chiefs has been solid. So it's like I think that the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball on the Ravens. And I do think the Ravens will be able to move the ball, obviously, because they can move the ball on anybody. But I think it's more likely that the Chiefs are going to be able to keep control of the clock and grind down the Ravens. Obviously, again, short week because they played Monday night, travel, and everything like that. So, but I think because of that, I think that it's gonna go under. I think it's gonna be under 48.5. That's my pick and stuff. And it's just gonna be a great game. Again, one of these teams is gonna be 1-3 after this week, but I do think actually both teams end up making the playoffs. Somehow they end up making the playoffs. Whether it's, I don't know, Ravens probably have a better chance of winning the division because I just don't know if anybody in the AFC North is really as good, certainly as good as the Ravens. The Steelers aren't, Browns certainly aren't, Bengals certainly aren't. So Ravens have the easier path, but and whoever wins, obviously they'll have a leg up. But I think the Chiefs need this game more, just because the Chargers have been playing so well and 3-0. They've already won 3 divisional games, so that's going to be the big thing. So I think the Chiefs are going to be focusing on keeping the ball control, probably lower scoring and stuff. So my pick under 48.5 for this potential another classic and potential AFC divisional or wild card preview game. So, but that was 4th down. Time to head to 5th down. All right, 5th down, and I mean we have to talk about this game. It's just like with 4th down with the Ravens and Chiefs. We got to talk about the Sunday night game and stuff. It's Micah Parsons returning to Dallas for the first time, obviously, since being traded this offseason to the Packers. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty kind of easy to say. Quick betting breakdown: Packers are minus 6.5 favorites. Over under is set at 47.5. I mean, this game is going to come down to. I guess you could get right to it. I'm taking as a Bears fan, it hurts, but I'm taking the Packers minus 6.5 because I do not trust the Cowboys defense. They just got blown out by the Bears, giving up 31 points last week. Probably could have given up more and stuff. Their defense is just. They had a good, solid start in Week 1 against the Eagles, but the Eagles' offense hadn't gotten in a groove yet. Packers' defense is probably the best defense that the Cowboys will face up to this point. And the Packers' offense might be the best that the Cowboys will face, obviously, up to this point as well. And that just bodes really poorly for Dallas because, obviously, CeeDee Lamb is out. I believe one of the offensive linemen for the Cowboys, Booker, one of their draft picks, is out. So that's 2 key players right there. Obviously, Micah Parsons returning, so he's going to be jacked up. Packers are out one of their receivers. I believe Jalen Reed. He was out, I think, last couple weeks, but still out with the shoulder or collarbone injury. But I mean, the Packers offense, I think, is just going to grind away at the Cowboys defense and just. It's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be over early, but it's going to feel over early. I think is the best way to say it, because I do think the Cowboys can score a little bit, but I feel much more confident in the Packers offense. Packers offense against the Cowboys defense is like a massive gap. The Cowboys offense against the Packers defense is a large gap, or a smaller gap than the other one, but still a sizable gap. If only because of the injuries on the Cowboys side and stuff. If everybody was healthy, it'd probably be a much smaller gap. But I think the Packers are just gonna. Matt LaFleur, I'm going to take over Brian Schottenheimer, Packers defensive coordinator. I'm going to take over Matt Eberflus for sure. I don't see a way unless Dak just goes ballistic and stuff and is hitting everything. I don't see the Cowboys really keeping this close. I don't know if I'll go a true blowout, but I think the Packers pretty comfortably cover the number, whether it's only a 7-point win or anything, but they just feel in control of the entire game. So, but yeah, I mean, even as a Bears fan, it hurts, but I'm going to go with it. Packers minus 6.5. So, but yeah, that's 5th down. Those are the 5 games. So, thank you for watching. I mean, I guess we can do a quick breakdown on what I got. Obviously, at Georgia, minus 3.5. Oregon, plus 3.5. Eagles, minus 3.5. Had the under 48.5 in Ravens Chiefs, and then just said Packers minus 6.5 against the Cowboys. So we'll see how those picks go. Went 2 and 3 last week. We'll see if we can flip that or get even better and stuff heading into the 3rd week of this little show with the betting picks and stuff like that. But thank you again for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. If you got any games that you want me to look at for the next upcoming shows and stuff, don't hesitate to drop a comment or shoot me a message on Twitter, on social. You got the handle right there. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and until next time, this is Spencer Fannon signing off. See you later.